Okay. I found my glasses. Actually, Jen found them for me. We do need to clean them a little bit here. They were in the car, I think, because I took them with when we went to a Blue Jays game a week ago. There we go. I think we're good. Excellent. I'll make sure that everything is working. I'll go to full display. Hi, everybody. Let me click the buttons that I need to click to see what I need to see. I think we're good. I think everything is working. So, hey, welcome to this English Q&A lesson. I'm just going to double check again to make sure everything is working. Yeah, I know I'm usually a little more animated when I start the live stream, but I was having trouble getting the outdoor camera working. I think I was actually clicking the wrong button. And I have my questions ready to go. You can see it's a little bit windy outside today. I'm not outside again because I can't actually carry all my equipment outside yet because of my collarbone. And I don't want to make Jen carry all my equipment outside. So at least we have a nice view of the outdoors that I can pop onto the screen every once in a while. I know back here, that says, Bob, what kind of plants are those on the ground behind you on the right in the thumbnail? That's a great question. Now I have to find my thumbnail back. How would I find my thumbnail back? It's in a folder here somewhere. I know I'm not getting the lesson started, but that's okay. Oh, I don't know. I think that was like a little vegetable. I think there's a few tomato plants in pots, which you can't see. I think that's what you're noticing there in the thumbnail. So, hey, hi, welcome to this English question and answer live stream. Let me explain how this works. You can ask questions about the English language, and I will do my best to answer as many as I can over the next hour. There is a form, there's a link in the description below. You can click that link and ask using that form. And Nightbot will also put the link in the chat occasionally, wherever that is on your screen. And it's also pinned as a comment. Your job is to have enjoyable English conversations in the chat, to submit a question to me. And if you want to listen to my answer, that's great. If you don't feel like listening to my answer, that's great as well. So welcome to this English Q&A lesson. Let me just check a few things to make sure things are working properly. Oh my, there are a lot of questions already. I forget sometimes that the questions come in a little faster during this live stream than they do when I do my topic-based live streams. Okay, so here we go. I'm clicking. Judith from Hungary. Hi, Bob. Do you like mushroom alone better or in a food dish mixed? Thank you. In a food dish mixed. I do enjoy mushrooms, but I don't like them on their own. I certainly like them diced or sliced and cooked. I like them on pizza. I don't mind if there's mushrooms mixed in to something else. But yes, I do enjoy mushrooms. They're quite yummy as long as they're fresh. I don't like it when mushrooms start to get they're a little old and rubbery. Hi to Mode Eggs, Hafiez, Mintriet, Hiberton. Know that says, by the way, how was your dad tax trip with your kids yesterday? I didn't end up having to do it. Another parent was able to do it. So that was nice. Hello to Freddie Wolf, Ismail, Know That, Rao, Judith, Unsel is here as well. Liga, Hamza, Amren, lots of familiar faces and maybe some new faces. So hi, and welcome to this English Q&A live stream. Let's get to the next question from Know That. Hello, Bob. Can the phrases from time to time, every now and then, and every so often be used interchangeably? Yes. Or do they carry different meanings? Thanks, Bob. No. From time to time, Jen and I will go and see a movie. Every now and then, Jen and I will go and see a movie. Every so often, Jen and I will go to see a movie. They are all identical in my book. It simply means that it doesn't happen regularly, doesn't really happen often, but it does happen at certain times. So yes, I would use all of those for sure. Let me just do a sound check here. Yeah, everything's working great. Okay. I have 2 cups of water today, just so I'm ready to go. One is cold and one is room temperature. That's the room temperature one. I prefer room temperature. I don't always like super cold water when I'm doing a live stream. Okay. Maxime. Hi, Mr. Bob. Today my question is, how do schools in Canada solve the problem of new immigrant children when they don't speak or barely speak English? Thank you. So if you immigrate to Canada and you do not speak English and you are in a Canadian school, they will have special classes for you during the school day where you can improve your English. We call them ELL classes, English Language Learner classes. You will also probably have access to after-school programs, possibly at the school or at a community center. And you will be very much encouraged to join different clubs at the school so that you're getting some good social interaction with English-speaking students as well. So there's a lot of things that we do for kids who are learning English. And the really cool thing about kids learning English is they learn it very quickly. Somehow as we get older, it takes us a little longer to learn something. Mode says, is this a water taste testing lesson or what? It's water mukbang. That's what it is. It's me tasting water. The pink water is very cool and delicious. Hi to Barra Vilson as well. Hafia says, Bob is running a marathon with all that water. Yeah, you know, it's cross country season. And I used to coach cross country years ago. And one of the beautiful things about coaching cross country is you get to be outdoors in the fall. I always really, really enjoyed that. Let's see here. Edgar. Made up your mind to have a conviction, to look decided. Are they related by chance? Thanks again, English teacher Bob. The most common one of those would be to have made up your mind. Okay. I made up my mind. I'm going to cook chicken for supper tonight. It means that I've decided to do that. When you have a conviction, it's kind of a more powerful thing. Like I have a conviction that I need to clean up the environment. So it's like a little more serious. And then to have a decided look or to be decided is a little more formal, but they're all related in the sense that they all mean that you have decided to do something. Also from Edgar, even though look pretty similar to me, can you help me note the differences? Good morning, Bob. So this would take a whole lesson and I don't really have time to do that. Although if I did it tomorrow morning, I could maybe do it. Though, yeah, I'm trying to use them all in a sentence though. Even though I don't have enough time, I might be able to find time. And I'm not sure that would work though. I often use though at the end of a sentence to kind of emphasize. So, yeah, tricky. I would have to do a full lesson on that. And I can't remember if I have. I think I did one on, I might have done one on that, but I'm not sure if I had even though in the lesson. For some reason, I feel like I was in an orchard somewhere. Let's see here. Let me find my English lessons. Bob the Canadian, though, although, let's see what comes up. Oh yeah, that one. I ended up at the lake at the end. There we go. And it does though, thought, tough, thorough, through, and throughout. That's not quite what you were looking for. I'll put that link in the chat anyways, if anyone's interested in that. So sorry, not a great response, but a few example sentences. From Tolek. Hey teacher, how's your day going? Did you have a productive week? How's everything on the farm? Thanks. I had a very productive week. As some of you noticed, I did not make a video this past Tuesday. I did do a live stream yesterday though, and it was on security part 2. That was quite fun. Yeah, I had a good week. I got a lot done. Not as much done on the farm, but a lot done related to school. So it was nice to have a little extra time to get caught up. That's how we would say that in English. I was able to get caught up. From Tina. Hello, Bob. Which one is right? Let me read these in my, quietly, and then I'll say the one out loud that is right. I was watching a performance at the theater at 7 p.m. last night. We also might say, I went to see a performance. And I can understand how this gets confusing because I would say this: I watched a movie last night at the theater, or I went to see a movie at the theater. We would use both those. So it is, but you would never say, I'm trying to think, we would also say, I saw a movie last night. Did you see a movie last night? Yeah, I saw a movie last night. I went and saw a movie last night. So yeah, little tricky, but I was watching a performance. I watched a performance. I don't know what the difference is. Let me think about that one for a bit. So if I say I was watching a movie or I saw a movie, so there's the difference, okay? I was watching a movie or I saw a movie. So we wouldn't say seeing necessarily. I was seeing. Yeah, this is a tricky one. Everything I said, though, is correct. From Talik, hello, teacher. I've noticed that when I talk to someone, I've started using filler words like you know and like. How can I stop this habit, and should I? Thanks. Not necessarily. In an informal conversation, you're going to use words like right, you know, like, a. So I might say something like, wow, it's really hot out today, isn't it? And my friend might say, right? You know, it's like, so yeah, it's like it's the middle of summer. So I'm not using like as a filler word there, but we do that. I don't do it a lot when I'm teaching online. But if you hear me speak a little more quickly, I often will use filler words. So I wouldn't avoid them. Just don't use too many of them. Natalia. My phrase today is the world is your oyster. How often do you say this to your best students at school, or would it be offensive to the others? You might say this, meaning that you are talented or you have the ability to do anything you want in life. I'll give you the official meaning here. The world is your oyster, meaning, let's see here. It's like you can do anything you wish or go anywhere you want in life because you have the ability to do so. So if someone is really good at learning, the world is their oyster. They can go to any university. You can also say this about someone who is wealthy. You could say, well, he has so much money, the world is his oyster. He can go to France tomorrow if he wants to. Whereas someone like myself, I would need to save up money, and I would not necessarily be able to just go on a whim. Let me get a sip of water here and we will continue. It's hard to get rid of filler words, right? Yes. I like the right at the end. I'm just scrolling back, looking at members. Let me see here. Good to see people chatting. Okay, let me get the next question up on the screen. Oh, no, that says, with the wind you have, Bob, it is at least not difficult to see when your river camera stops working. Yes. And I'm kind of glad, like this is the year where I haven't done lessons outside, but I am kind of glad that I haven't. Let's get the next question up here from Talik. In everyday conversation, how frequently are the present, past, and future perfect continuous tenses used? Is it important to dedicate more time to studying them? Yes, you should know those tenses. It is important to be able to use them, definitely. Let me find my video. I haven't done a lot of Bob the Canadian perfect tense. There was a little stretch there where I did some grammar videos. So let me get back here. Yeah. Here's a video on the present perfect continuous, right? Like I have been running. So I'm getting a little off track here by posting too many videos here. Yes, you do need to know them. Like if someone says, how long have you been working there? Well, I've been working there for 10 years. They're very, very common to be able to use them. But a little hard to explain in a live lesson like this, the exact way to use them. From Fabian. Hi, teacher. Oh, by the way, if you're like, the guy never answers grammar questions, there is a reason why I don't go in depth with my explanations. It's because I don't want to teach you something wrong. As a native English speaker, it's not natural for me to have to teach the tense. I have to do a little bit of research to make sure I get it right when I explain it to you. So if I was to do a lesson on that, I wouldn't do it live. I would do my research and write a lesson plan and shoot a video. So during live lessons, I don't often get into the details. For instance, if I was to say to you, what's the past conditional of the verb to do in your language? You don't necessarily know off the top of your head how to say that. But okay, anyways. Hi, Teacher Bob. Can you explain to us how to use tip off? I don't know how to use this phrasal verb. There are two meanings that come to mind. So in a basketball game, they throw the ball up and it's called the tip off. The first person who hits the ball to a teammate has won the tip off. You can also tip off the police. If your neighbor is stealing cars and selling the parts, you might tell the police, hey, my neighbor is breaking the law. So you would tip off the police. You could also, if you knew the police were coming to arrest your neighbor, you could tip off your neighbor by telling him or her that the police were coming. So a few different ways to use it. Okay, I'm going to skip the next one. It's from Jack, and it's a question regarding an inappropriate racial term. Okay, so I am going to skip that one. I don't want to sound indelicate, but it's hard to explain terms like that without possibly saying something a little bit wrong. So you'll have to ask that question somewhere else. I usually avoid those kinds. Let's see here. Next one is from Edgar. And my last question, he is a very conceited person. To show off or presume form part of the personality. Thank you, Bob. So if you're conceited, it means you think you are super important and better than other people. And you think you look amazing and you're attractive. Like you think, we would say you think you're above people. When you show off, it means if you have like a really expensive car, if you're rich and you have an expensive car and an expensive watch, we would say that someone is trying to show off. If you're really good at a sport and you're doing little tricks with the soccer ball, we would say you're showing off. And then presume, that presume has a lot of different meanings, but when it comes to personality, an arrogant person might presume that other people are doing things that they should be. I'm not explaining the presume part right, but yes, that is my best attempt at explaining that. Sorry, I'm still trying to think through one thing as I do another thing. From Alex, let me go big screen and have a sip of water. I think I talk more, or I talk a lot more quickly in these live streams, possibly. Okay. Question. Hey, Bob, how is it going? It's Alex. Hi, Alex. I would like to ask, how do you use the phrase in no time? Can I say I'm going to leave my home in no time? Thanks. We usually use this to describe getting from one place to another really quickly. Like I drove really fast and I got there in no time. Okay. Or something arriving, like I ordered something from Amazon and it was here in no time. It came the same day. So we use it to describe something moving from one place to another very, very quickly, or a person moving from one place to another very, very quickly. Judith. Hi, Bob. Which movie do you like better? Dirty Dancing with Patrick Swayze or Staying Alive with John Travolta? Thanks. Oh, we should go big, shouldn't we? What is happening? Jen is driving to the barn. Both dogs are with her. She has a load of flowers. I think she's going to unload them and put them in the cooler. It is a little hard to see her all the way over there, but yeah, she's enjoying the no frost, and it's going to be 26 Celsius today. I actually haven't ever watched Dirty Dancing. I don't know much about the movie. My sisters really liked it, and I think I've seen little bits of Staying Alive, but these are movies that, I really like science fiction movies and action movies and fantasy movies, and I've not really watched many of those types. So I can't say, but I do like John Travolta. So maybe I'll go with Staying Alive. I'm not. That's my final answer. Final answer to that one. Let me see here. Okay. Hi, Mr. Bob. If you could instantly add one life skill, like critical thinking, empathy, or financial literacy to the school curriculum, what would it be and why? Thanks. So empathy is when you feel the same feelings another person has, or you at least are able to think about their experiences as if they're happening to you. I'm not explaining this well. If someone is sad and I feel sadness, I'm feeling empathy. They are sad for a reason, and I know that reason, and that makes me sad as well. If someone doesn't have food and they're hungry, I feel a lot of empathy. I feel bad for them, and I want to help them. Critical thinking is the ability to think logically, to analyze things, to use data and come up with a good answer. And financial literacy is simply spending money wisely and saving money wisely. I think empathy would be really high on my list. I think a little bit because of social media, students sometimes could improve their interpersonal skills, their ability to engage in conversation in a positive way with others. So that would be the one. Mode says Bob the Canadian didn't want to play his song too many times because it'd make him look like a bit presumptuous. Yes, a little arrogant, a little presumptuous, a little conceited. It was fun for a time to have a song, and now if you want to listen to it, it's still on YouTube, but I'm not going to be playing it. Omran. Hello, Bob. Do you like traveling? I haven't seen you abroad, only once when you visited Brent. Thank you. Yes. So I visited Brent in 2024. In 2025, Brent and I had some plans early in the spring before I broke my collarbone, but it was getting a little tricky I wasn't sure I wanted to go to the United States with all my camera equipment to make YouTube videos because it might appear like I was working, and I had some concerns. It's a little, the relationship between the US and Canada at the time wasn't super positive. That's my best way. But then eventually I broke my collarbone. So that really just canceled the trip. So, and Freddie Wolf says, what? My Bob doesn't know his grammar rules by heart? Oh no, I'm so disappointed. Don't worry. I don't know all the French tenses either. They're so complicated. Sans rancune. Yes. In fact, I've mentioned this before. 10 years ago or 9 years ago, when I started making YouTube videos, I didn't even know that we called verbs, phrasal verbs, when they had prepositions and other words in them. I didn't know that was the term. I know all the phrasal verbs. I use all the phrasal verbs. I understand all of them. But as an English speaker, I didn't know what the name of that verb was. So let's get to the next question. So I'm going to skip this one as well because it is related to something. Yeah, Jack, you can't just keep spamming the question, okay? So if I decide not to answer it, we just got to let it go, I think. That's the way that goes. Okay, from Alice. Hello, Bob. When we turn on the water and there's too much water coming out of the faucet, what do you say if you need less water and vice versa? Thank you. So I turn on the tap. Turn it down? No, we turn down the TV if it's too loud. What do I say? Yeah, I think we say turn it off a little bit. So turn it down a little bit. I don't think we say that. Whoa, too much water. Turn it. I think we just freak out and say turn it off. Or a little bit less. Turn it down a bit. Do we say that? Yeah, we might. We might say that. Can you turn it off a bit more? Turn it on a bit more. I think that's what I'm going to say. You would probably turn it off a bit more. Can you turn that off a bit? Or too much water. Turn it off. Yeah, it's a good one. I actually don't know the answer to that one. From Not to Brag. My English is fairly good, but my gut tells me that sometimes in film or series, the order of words, not idioms or special expressions, it's hard to process. Yeah, sometimes I have the same when I'm listening to French, where there's too many descriptive words in a row and you only catch some of them. Or it might be a very, what do we call those words that show up together quite often? I just did a lesson on them and now I can't remember. But sometimes the native speaker says 3 words as if it's one word because it functions that way and then it's hard to hear it. Best thing for that is subtitles and lots of listening. Mode says to Freddie Wolf, it's not only knowing about the rules, but it's also really hard to give complete answer to these questions. You have to take a moment and think of all the cases you use as structure. Yeah, that's the problem with grammar is it's a very logical, complex thing to know and then to explain. Dial that back a bit. That would work as well. Yeah, but I think we would. Yeah, I'm still stuck on that one. So Jen turns on the tap. The water is coming out too fast. And I say, turn it. Yeah, I think turn it down. We might say that. It doesn't sound right for some reason. Mode says, Brent used that phrasal verb the other day when we were talking about the glorious. Which phrasal verb is that? The freak out? Or dial it back a bit. Okay. Collocations or collocations. Yeah, I pronounce it 2 ways. Yes, thank you. There we go. Okay. Next question. Here we go. From Theo. Hey, how has your week been going? Or hey, how has your week been going? Mine is good. Also, what is the difference? I feel like the question didn't quite get finished, Theo. Let me check my my graph here. Where's Theo? Okay, so let me answer what I can. My week was good. I had an enjoyable week. It was a bit busy, but in a good way. So I did really, really enjoy it. Let me get a sip of water. Oh, did the camera freeze? Yes, the camera froze. Let me fix that for a minute. I will be right back. You're all just watching a picture. You're all just watching a picture of, let me see here. What am I going to do? I'm going to flip that and then go back here. And that usually works. There we go. We're going to see Bob's nose. So he found a loophole. Yeah, I went and I muted my camera. I hid my camera. Okay. Let me get to the next question here. It's almost members only chat time too. From Judith. Hi, Bob. Have you seen Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning 1 and 2? Did you like them? Where have you seen them? Have a great time. I watched the first one somewhere, maybe on a streaming service. I have not watched the second one yet. I enjoyed the first one. That's the one where he jumps the motorcycle off the cliff, I think. And that was very, very fun and enjoyable. From Mohammed. Hello, Bob. I want to know the weather now in Canada. So that's a tricky thing to answer. I can tell you what the weather's like right here in my part of Canada. Let me pull that up for a second. I think it's going to say 20 degrees, high of 27 degrees Celsius today. That's very hot for October. Mainly sunny. And then tonight it's going to be 13 degrees. Now, of course, in Canada, the weather can be different like 100 kilometers from here, and it is a very, very large country. So it's kind of hard to say what the weather's like in all of Canada. But here it is going to be a beautiful day for growing flowers, but a little bit hot for me. I don't always enjoy it. Hey, we're going to go to members only chat mode. Let me explain a little bit what members are. Members are people who have decided they would like the perks that they get as members, and they want to help support the channel. They click the join button or the subscribe plus button, and then they get a little written lesson plan and some ideas on Monday for what they can do that week to improve their English. There is an extra video on Wednesdays called Wednesdays with Bob. On Wednesdays, we also have 2 watch parties live where we watch the previous lesson together. And I give commentary and answer questions, and I will also answer any other questions you have. So if you're looking for some English learning help, you can come to those live streams. On Fridays, you get your name in green on a live stream and you get a crown beside your name. You get early access or full access to my vocabulary app, which I have to stop saying this, but at some point we'll have new levels for you to practice. And there's something else I always forget, but there are many things you get as a member. Right now, if you're a member, you get access to members only chat questions. I will keep answering questions from the forum, but as members ask questions, I will answer those as well. Takagero, oh no, isn't there no outside live lesson this year? Maybe next year. We'll have to wait and see. So my reason again is I could have asked Jen, who's very busy right now, to carry my laptop and set up a table and bring out my camera and run all the cables. I can't physically do any of that work yet. I'm still on restricted use of my arm because I don't want to re-injure my collarbone. So that would have been nice. It would have been a beautiful day to do it, although it is a bit windy. So we might have to wait until next year for outdoor lessons again. I used to do them every Saturday, and that got to be a little too much, but maybe we can see if we can squeeze one in November if the weather is nice. Tucker Bill says, hey, just popping in to the live. What's up? I am confused by the difference between there and there. So the first one refers to a place, like he went there. And the second one refers to someone owning something. It is their car. Okay, so THER is a place. THEIR refers to owning it. Like how much was their bill at the restaurant would be a good one. Okay, from Fabian, in the show, The Office used sometimes my bet as an answer. What does that mean? Thanks in advance. I'm going to guess they would say you bet instead of my bet. It's common sometimes to hear someone when they're in agreement. Like if you say the Blue Jays are the best team in the world, they might say you bet they are, to emphasize their agreement. So that's probably what they were saying. Haki says, I actually use ChatGPT, and he said that we can use cut down off the water or turn off the water. Yeah. Oh, Brent's here. We can maybe ask Brett to answer this one. Thanks, Brett, for chipping in and buying someone a gift membership. Michelle got a gift membership from Brent from American English. Thanks for that. I'll do a free membership as well in just a moment, but thanks, Brent, for doing that. So for 30 days, Michelle, if you go to the community post, you will see all the members only tabs or members only posts. Hey, Brent, the question was, if Jamie turns on the water tap all the way and you're at the other end of the hose and the water's coming out too fast, what do you tell her if you want her to make less water come out? I couldn't think of whether, would I say turn it down or turn it off a little bit or dial it back? I don't know. I would probably say turn it off, something like that. Okay. Mode. Hey, Mr. Bob, I was wondering if you could use tip off without the second part, as in somebody must have tipped the police. Why do I feel like I heard that somewhere? Yes, I think you could. The correct full version would be tipped off, but you might be able to get away with just tipped. You might have heard that in a TV show. A wild Brent appears. From Freddie Wolf. Wait, let me do my membership giveaway. Where are we here? Membership gifting. And I'm giving away one membership at every live stream. Let me get that up on the screen and hit the button. And we will find out in a moment who got a free membership. Well, hopefully we find, oh, there we go. It just popped up. It doesn't say who got it though on my screen yet. So I sent a free membership for 30 days to someone and I don't know who got it. It doesn't say, oh, Maija received a gift membership from me. So if you go to the community tab or the posts section of my channel, you'll see all of the members only posts. I'm going to do, Brent says, man, I'd probably say something like, whoa, too much, turn it off. Yeah, I think that's how I would react too, especially if the water is flying all over the place. Okay, let me go back up to, where was I? Mode, okay. Bob, you come and sit a while with me, or you come and sit a while with me. Come and sit a while. Are both of these sentences with while similar? I think so. I think, is a while like all right, where both versions are correct? I think it is. I'm going to have to look that up for a sec. A while versus a while. So a while, 2 words, is a period of time, and a while is for a short time. That didn't really help me much. So we'll go to the theater in a while, or he rested a while together. So there you go. There's your tricky one. Like, you only really need to know that when you're writing, but good question though. Know that. Maybe you need a remote control or an operator aid for your camera someday. Then you could restart it right from your chair. I think I could, because I think they do make one that does that. I just don't know why it goes to sleep during a live stream. I probably have the settings wrong. Know that. On the other hand, the way things are now, at least you can move around a bit. That's true. I get to stretch my legs. Hafiz says you betcha, which is the informal version of you bet. Let's see here. From Know That, how did the rest of your Friday turn out? What are your plans for today or tomorrow? Anything special to do on the farm, or are you just going to kick back and relax a bit? Thanks, Bob. I'm going to do a bit of both. I'll probably help Jen quite a bit on the farm. As the weather is staying nice, the flowers keep producing, so we keep harvesting. It's actually quite nice. And then I am going to relax a bit today too. I had a somewhat busy week. But I'm not doing anything. I'm not really going out. Okay, I'm going back to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Know That, Brent. From Fabian. I often listen to Canadian radio stations. Could you recommend one from your city? Thank you. The closest one to me is 97.7 Hits FM. I can't really recommend it. They play lots of classic rock, so that's a good one. Or Q107 from Toronto is another classic rock station. Bridget says, hi, Bob. Hi, everyone. Good to see you, Bridget. Let's see here. Osvaldo. Hello, Bob. Could you explain the difference between hike and ride? Thanks in advance. So it's a little tricky, because I could say this. I'm going to go on a hike, or I'm going to ride in a car. That's the traditional way to use those two verbs, okay? A hike would be a walk in the forest or on trails. So last week, Jen and I actually went on a hike last Sunday, a short hike. My leg's not 100% yet. When we went there, I drove the car and Jen was able to ride in the car, okay? But I could say this. I went to visit my brother, and he lives 3 hours away. It was quite a hike. That does not mean I walked there. It simply means the journey was very, very long. Or I could say it was quite a long ride to get there. Talik is saying hi to Brent. Bob sent a gift membership. Know that. Besides the phrase I asked you about yesterday, I've also come across the expression rake it in lately. Could you shed some light on its meaning and give some examples of how to use it? So when you are raking it in, it means you're making lots of money very quickly. So I would say this: casinos rake in a lot of money. The casinos are designed so that you lose more often than they lose. So in some ways, you are most likely to lose a lot of money if you gamble, but the casino is going to rake in the money. They're going to make a lot of money. Thanks a lot, Bob, from Know That. No problem. In simple words, a while equals for a while. Oh, yes, that would make sense. Sit with me for a while. Sit with me a while. Know that. With Thanksgiving just around the corner, Bob, do you already know how you're going to celebrate it? Or do you have a certain tradition you follow so you don't have to plan too much in advance? So one of my siblings, my brother, lives somewhat far away. So we usually celebrate Thanksgiving whenever he is able to visit. And sometimes that's on Thanksgiving Day, and sometimes that's the weekend after or 2 weeks after. I'm not 100% sure when that is this year, but I will have Thanksgiving dinner with my brothers and sisters. Jen and I normally don't make a Thanksgiving dinner here at home. So that's how that works. Mode. I noticed that Freddie loves to ask questions about things like all right versus all right, all together versus all together, and a while and a while. Yeah, and they're good questions. Hey, Letitia is a new member. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining. I will have a sip of water. And wait, did the camera stop again? What is happening? The camera is just not. Maybe the battery's going dead. Who knows? I will go make it work again. I should have like a camera you can watch when I go and make the camera work. It's also possible that the camera's just getting really hot. That could be as well. So we'll do this and then this, and now the leaves move again. There we go. Yes, Freddie. Can I use gotcha to express the meaning of I understand you and I got you in the sense je t'ai eu? Okay, so there's actually two meanings to I gotcha. Okay, so if you say the way to get to the gas station, go down this street and turn left, I could say gotcha, which means I understand. But if I say I got you, it actually means I will help you and support you. So if someone is climbing down a ladder and they start to slip, you could grab them and say, I got you, which means I am, yeah, so tricky. That's a tricky one. No, that says, wait, Mode says, have a blue sip, Bob. Will do. No, that says, Brent, how was the rest of your school day yesterday, Brent? I hope it wasn't too stressful and the rest of your day went well. Fridays at schools are usually fairly pleasant. I'm assuming Brent has a similar experience to me. We work hard, but not as hard. From Renata. And I will answer a few more members' questions and then we'll go back to the full chat. Hello, Bob. What does it mean to cop to something? I think it's an American expression. Have you ever used it? Thank you in advance for your answer. Have a great weekend. I think it means to admit you did something. I'm going to look it up. I have heard it. It might be somewhat American. Let's see. Yeah. No, that's not. Oh, yes. To cop to something means to admit to doing something wrong, something illegal or embarrassing. Yeah, it's not a very common verb. I have heard it, but it's not as common as you might think. Let's see. Brent says, yeah, my Friday was pretty chill. I ended the week with a planning period to get ready for next week. Yeah. At our school, sometimes on Fridays, the teachers take turns bringing in soup and buns. And so every, like you get free lunch kind of, but then at some point you have to also bring in soup and buns. Freddie says, by the way, Bob, when will be the date for the winter time change in Canada? Time change. Yeah, I don't know. In a week or two, I think. I think it's earlier this year. Time change in Ontario, Canada, 2025. November 2nd, it says. So that's a month away. So not too bad. Let me turn off members only chat. Once again, thank you for all of you. Thank you to all of you who are members. You guys are awesome. Thank you for hanging out, supporting the channel, and doing all that fun stuff. Let me back up again. Brent has another meaning for I got you. When you play a trick or joke with someone, you can also say I got you. Like I tricked you. I got you. Good one. And then Letitia, happy to become a member. Always watch your videos and couldn't resist this time. LOL. I'm from Brazil. Your videos help me lots. Well, welcome to the channel and thank you for becoming a member. That's awesome. Let me see here. What do I got? I think we got just enough questions to get this going. Okay. Sandy, hi Bob. What's the difference what's the difference between establish, inaugurate, or start? Thank you. Have a nice weekend. So first of all, when you establish something, it means you you do start it. So if I wanted to start an archery club, I might establish a club. Okay. That means I find a place where we can have the club. I start to welcome new members. I establish it. It's like the date where it begins. We often say like that restaurant was established in 1972, meaning that's the year when it started. The verb start is just like a generic way to talk about things that are beginning. And then inaugurate is very formal. It's used for like your inaugural year is like your first year. I wouldn't worry too much about that word. I don't think I've ever used that word while having a conversation. And we often use it to talk about politicians in their inaugural year or in their first year. That would be what I would say. Whoa, there's a lot of words in this next question. Hey, recently I've been struggling with the words onward, outward, or inwards, outwards, and the websites I know don't seem to provide good examples. Thanks. So onward means to make forward motion, and it's kind of like a military kind of sounding word, like, hey, onward, everybody, let's keep moving. So if I have a class and they aren't working very hard on the lesson, I might say, people, onwards, let's get this done. So I'm encouraging them to make forward progress. Outward is simply the outside of anything. So sometimes people, their outward appearance is that they're happy, but inside they're not actually happy. Okay. Inwards means simply to move towards something or outwards away. These are words that, yeah, I'm going to have to go examples of inwards and outwards. Yeah. That's a tricky one because they're not super common for me. Like I would say, I don't even know how to give example sentences of inwards and outwards. So I'm gonna actually back away from this one. It's rare that I do that even after looking it up. It sounds like it's somewhat of a more descriptive psychological term, like your inward feelings and your outward appearance are common to me. But when you start to pluralize or add the S, I'm not sure, even as an English speaker, how to use them. Let's see here. I'm just looking at the chat for a sec. Hafiasa says the students need to butter up the teachers than to get popcorn. Yeah, if you watch a movie. Mo says, wait, I didn't know gotcha and got you have different meanings. I thought they meant the same thing. You must have two options to link the words, either with a little shush or with a stop T. So if I say gotcha, to me that means I tricked you, like the meaning that Brent was saying, like gotcha. But if I say I got you, like with actually saying it changes. Like if you were going to trip and fall, I'd be like, I got you. And then I grab your arm and hold you up. Or if you're like, I'm going to ask the boss for a raise. Will you come with me for support? I might say, I got you. I'm coming with. So it's kind of informal. It's almost a little bit of slang, the second way I'm using it there. From Gabby, hello, Teacher Bob. Hope you're getting better. How would you describe a situation when two are arguing and everyone is stuck to his opinion? Thanks. So yeah, there's a word, irreconcilable. That's a mouthful. But sometimes when two people are fighting, they have irreconcilable differences. And I really hope I'm pronouncing that right. It means that they will never reconcile. They will never come to an agreement. And sometimes when people are married, they will get a divorce because they have irreconcilable differences. You're going to need to look that word up. Maybe someone can put it in the chat. Irreconcilable means that you are just never going to agree. And then we have the phrase agree to disagree, which is a lighter way of describing it, where two people might just say, well, you're never going to think the way I think, and I'm never going to think the way you think. So we'll just have to agree to disagree. Okay. But yeah, look up that other word, irreconcilable. Talik says, thank you for answering my questions, teacher. Have a great day. You too. This is fun for me, fun for you. So we're all benefiting. From Utah Kicker. Hey, I'm wondering what is the difference between there and there? So we covered this one earlier. There, the first one is a place. I'm going to go there to buy groceries. And THEIR is for possession, like it's their restaurant. They own that store. It is their store. That is the difference. From Fabian, it's me again with a funny question. If you could choose a superpower, which one would you choose and why? I think I've answered this one before, and it probably changes over time. So you can fact check me and go back and find out how I've answered this before. But today, if I could have a superpower, what would it be? I think it would be to always be healthy. Like, you know how Wolverine, he self-heals? And so if he gets, in a fight and someone punches him and he has a black eye, it heals within seconds. I think that's what I would want. So then when my collarbone broke, I would have the superpower of super healing, and then it would just heal itself within minutes or seconds. That'd be the one I would choose. I think a lot of people would choose that one. From Hite. Hi, Hite. Sorry I was late, Bob. I didn't know this live. Yes. Or you didn't know this live was happening, perhaps. Yep, it is happening. We are live. We are live for another 10 minutes or so, and then I'll probably wrap this up. From Judith. Hi, Bob. I hope you'll watch Dirty Dancing along with Staying Alive. Both are great movies, really. Best wishes. I will see if I can find the time this winter. Maybe on a snow day, I'll make a cup of hot chocolate, and Jen and I will sit and watch one or both of those movies. Let's see. From Elena. Hi, Bob. Is IB allowed in Canada? I know that you have Canadian curriculum, which is very good in my opinion. Do you have IB schools? Oh, International Baccalaureate. That's what you're talking about. Yes, IB. We do have IB schools. Yes. Most of our schools are just Canadian schools with Canadian curriculum, but there are some private schools that are IB or International Baccalaureate schools. Let me look that up for a sec. IB schools in Canada. I know there's one in Hamilton, I'm pretty sure. There are numerous International Baccalaureate schools in Canada, IB schools. It looks like there's over 300 of them, according to the Google AI, if we could trust it. So there are a few, yes. So for those of you who are wondering, in order to get a diploma in Canada, you have to follow the correct curriculum, but you can also get other types of diplomas. And one is the IB diploma, which is kind of a little bit more of a world standard. From Unsel. Is there one specific dish that your family constantly requests you make? We like making homemade pizza. We use our bread machine to make the dough. Also, one of my kids was a cross-country runner and would often ask for pasta of some kind the night before they would have to go run. And so we would make spaghetti or chicken Alfredo or something with lots of noodles in it. But the most requested meal in our house is homemade pizza for sure. Ayat says, hi, Sir Bob. Could you please explain this idiom for me? To take something with a grain of salt, and thanks in advance. When you take something with a grain of salt, it means like you believe it, but you're also skeptical and you want to do your own research, or it's like you kind of have to know the person who's saying it. So if someone who doesn't manage their money well comes to you and tells you you should invest in this company, you have to take that with a grain of salt. Like you have to look at who's saying it, what the company is, and those kinds of things. Let's get an official definition with a grain of salt. So it says when you take something with a grain of salt, it suggests that you view something that might have misleading or unverified claims with some skepticism, or you need to be critical. So yes, I always think it depends who's saying it. If someone who never drives to Toronto says the commute is great, there's never any traffic jams, you have to take that with a grain of salt, because you got to think they don't actually drive there. So they might not be the best person to give their opinion on that. Cunning Fox says, what is grunt work? I'm going to take out the A. What is grunt work? Can you give examples of such work? No S. grunt work is any kind of physical labor. So if you need to dig a hole with a shovel, that is grunt work. If you need to move 50 boxes from one room at work to another and you have to lift all of them and they are heavy, that is grunt work. We call it grunt work because you know what a grunt is? It's like if you lift something heavy, you're like you grunt when you lift it sometimes without even deciding to. If I lift something heavy, it's usually like you grunt. So anything that's physical labor and very, very hard, lifting heavy things, digging a hole, we would call that grunt work. Brent says, whenever you look something up with AI or ChatGPT, take it with a grain of salt. Yes, great example. Freddie says, Bob's lives always make my day. That's cool for sure. Yeah, thanks for being here. It's kind of fun to do it. I missed doing the members ones this past week because I didn't do a video. So there was no video. There was no watch party because there was no video to watch. Mohammed, in your opinion, which part of Canada is more beautiful, the French speaking part or the English speaking part? So I don't know how to answer this well because every part of Canada I have visited has been beautiful. If there's one thing, like I don't think Canada is the best country in the world. I think we have problems, but if you were to rate countries on how beautiful the landscape is and how beautiful nature is, I would say Canada is in the top 10, if not the top 5. So I am very proud to live in a beautiful country. So is the French speaking part more beautiful than the English speaking part? I don't know. Quebec is a very beautiful province. The French speaking parts of other provinces out east are very beautiful. We have the Atlantic Ocean, the Pacific Ocean. We have northern Ontario and northern Quebec where it's heavily forested. We have the Rocky Mountains there. That's a tough question. But I will say, if you were to say, is Canada the most beautiful country in the world? I would say we're in the running. Like that means I think it's pretty nice. Sergey, do you farm or do you just live in the countryside? So a little fix there. Do you farm or do you just live countryside? So cool example here of how in English we often use a noun as a verb. So I live on a farm. That's the noun. And Jen and I farm. We farm the land. So that's the verb. So yes, we do farm. We grow soybeans. We grow flowers. We have goats. We do actively farm. We farm on our farm. You're allowed to say things like that in English. In the chat, Letitia says, could you talk a bit about the verb to hustle and give examples? Thank you. So it can have two meanings. When I'm late for work, I need to hustle. That means I need to go fast. I might need to drive a little bit fast. I need to walk quickly to get in the building. I need to hustle. I need to move quickly. But it also can mean to work hard to start a business or an enterprise. So we live in a time where there's something called the hustle culture, which is to work long days, start a business, and try to do well by putting in lots of time. Hafia says, Canada is humongous. Oh, it says YouTube is not responding. What does that mean? Hopefully the live stream is still working. Let me check. Oh, it looks like it's working. Why am I getting an error? I don't know. Tell me in the chat if it's still working for you. It seems to still be working for me, and I have a few more questions to answer. So I'm going to keep going. Okay, let me get the next one on the screen. From Ario, hi, Mr. Bobby. How are you doing? My question is, how could I use the phrase snap out of it correctly? Again, I've heard from some English dubbed anime. So here's how you use snap out of it. If someone is not paying attention, if they're just kind of staring off into space in my classroom, I might say to them, hey, snap out of it. I guess I might even snap my fingers. It means you want people to pay attention again. So yeah, it looks like everything's working again. I think it was just a little blip, a little glitch. Junji, You look really healthy, not only physically, but also mentally. If you don't mind my question, tell us the secret. There's no secret. I'm happy when I'm online, and then I'm grouchy when I'm, no. Number one, please remember that whenever you see someone online like me, we are usually in a good mood because we're enjoying what we're doing and you see the best side of us. I'm not going to be grouchy or angry during a live stream. I'm not going to be sad during a live stream. I do this because I enjoy it. The people who watch enjoy it. So it's a very positive experience. But don't think that that means 24 hours a day, Bob is this amazing, happy person. I am like every other human being. I'm grouchy, I'm crabby, I'm sad, I'm happy. I have all the same emotions. You just get to see me at my best all the time. If you really want to know what my secret would be, it is no secret that I've said before, if I eat healthy food, if I exercise, and if I sleep well, I'm generally a very happy person. And I think this is true for most people. I know there are things in life that can make you feel sad. And maybe I haven't experienced a lot of those in the last couple of years. But yes, go for a walk, get out in nature, get a good night's sleep, eat healthy food. And I guarantee you, that will help you feel a bit better, at least, for sure. That's a great question, though. Opang. Hello, Mr. Bob. Can you give me some advice, a little fixer? Can you give me some advice to improve my speaking skills? Yes, you should speak more. You should get an English speaking partner. You should hire someone, if you can afford to do that, to have regular English conversations with you. Practicing your conversations will make you better at having conversations. I mean, I'm going to say it's as simple as that. It's not simple, but it is something that does help a lot. From Dallas, hi Bob, what's the difference between a diploma and a degree? I think it depends where you are going. So I went to university to get a degree. My degree is in education and French and history. And I also, when I was done, got a piece of paper, which is a diploma. So they can kind of mean the same thing. Bob, where did you get your diploma from? Bob, where did you get your degree from? Those would have the same answer. But yeah, so a degree usually means completion of some sort of university programs. Bear Wilson says, a few videos ago, Bob was a little lazy, but decided posting a video anyways. Yeah, that was true. That was about probably the grouchiest I was. I was like, I just don't feel like doing this today. It was a rare occasion for me. I don't quite understand this one, Fathia. Sorry. Hi, Bob. Please explain more about own. Thanks. So if you're simply asking about the word own, it's how we talk about when something belongs to someone. Like, I own this cup. I own this microphone. The problem is we use that word for other things as well. Right now, I'm doing this live stream on my own. I'm the only one doing it. I set up the equipment. No one is here helping me. I'm doing it on my own. You can also say things like, he has his own car, which means he bought a car and it belongs to him. So that's a tricky word. That's a little more complex than I realized as I started explaining it. Okay, a few more questions and we will wrap this up. Abdella, can you give me advice for students and ways of studying and in which subjects I have to aim for? That really depends on what you want to do in life. If your goal is to get an education, in order to get a certain job, you should study what you need to study to get that job. If your goal is to become a fluent English speaker, you should obviously add in English courses while you're doing that. But my advice for students would always be this. Look at what jobs are hiring people and what jobs are becoming more scarce, and then find out where you can work in a field you like where they are going to be hiring people. And that's tricky because it could all change in a few years, right? From Khaled, hi, sir, and hi, everyone. My question is, how can I practice English when I live with people who don't speak English? You have to find other people who are learning English And as much as you will make mistakes talking to each other, you will also help each other. You need to focus on reading out loud. You need to focus on finding conversations that you can practice with each other. And if you can, I would find an English speaker to help you with your English conversation. For sure. Letitia says, does anybody know if we can't find a good answer for a question we have, can we ask Bob at other times other than his lives? Thanks. In a good week, I respond to almost all member comments on all videos. This past week, I haven't done that, but that is one way where you can ask me. But yes, during live streams is probably the best way to directly ask me a question if you want me to give an answer like that. Claire says, it's been a minute. Does this mean it's been a while? Yes. It's kind of the opposite of a minute. Kim, hi Bob. What does interscope mean? I don't know. Thanks for your advice. I don't actually know what interscope means. Is it, you think it's a medical term? Now I'm curious. What is interscope? There are words I don't know. Apparently it's a record company. Yeah, I don't know. That's I'm gonna have to pass on that one. So the next question is kind of the same. So I think I answered that. So we'll just go, let me go here. Let me have a sip of water and we'll wrap this up. Unsel says, Q&A lessons, question and answer lessons, always leave me feeling inspired and grateful. Thank you for sharing your wisdom with us in such an engaging way. These conversations are truly special and I always look forward to them. Well, thank you for watching. Thank you for sitting down and hanging out during this live lesson. So it is fun to do, and I do like doing them. I just, yeah, time-wise, I can't do more than what I do, so I'm just going to keep doing it. My room's starting to look like a bit of a mess, isn't it? I need to clean up. Got a bunch of papers laying by my computer and some lawn chairs in the corner, and I don't know what is that. Oh, there's my jacket and my coat, my chair there. So, anyways, thanks for hanging out. It's been an hour and a bit. I am done. I am going to click the button that ends this live stream, and we'll do another one in 4 weeks. And I doubt it will be outside. November can be quite cold here. Like today, it's going to feel like summer. And then in a month, it's going to feel like winter. And as I say that, even I think my air conditioning has turned on. I don't think we have ever run the air conditioning in the house in the fall, but it is running. So know that says, thanks for the awesome hour, Bob. It's always a real pleasure to spend some extra time with you on a Saturday. Wishing you and your family a wonderful day and weekend. Take care. You take care too. Bye to everybody. I'll start saying bye to people now in the chat. So bye to Haki and Judith. Bye to Bablu. And bye to Know That. Bye to Mode Eggs, Brent. I'm just going to read Know That's list. That'll help me. Bye to Natalia Hafiez, Judith, Freddie Wolf. Bye to Haru. Bye to Mode. Bye to Hafiez. Bye to Edgar. Bye Burgett. Bye Cy Sandy. Bye Bear Vilson. Bye Natalia Illusion. Bye Maxime. Bye to everybody. I'm going to click the button now. Where is the button? Outro button. The music will start in a moment. Should I wait 2 seconds?